Hi, friends. MaryLue with the Missouri Show Me Hope Crisis Counseling Program here at Preferred Family Healthcare. Thank you for joining our Mind and Body Wellness series. I really hope that you were able to catch April's video on Tuesday. She had a lot of great information about grief and loss, and we're going to kind of follow up with that today. We're going to kind of talk about grief and loss that we may have experienced due to COVID-19. I know that I personally had some situations that I may not have allowed myself to grieve properly because I didn't feel like they were big enough, considering everything that was going on in the world. And that just wasn't fair to myself. So, one of the activities that I'm going to discuss today is it allows me to take pause and to process the things that I really should have grieved. And that will allow me to begin the process of healing and um, give me the tools to be able to kind of move past that situation. And also, we're going to celebrate the joyous moments in life, and that'll help me transition to a positive mindset after I discuss the things that I need to grieve. So, with that being said, I'll show you the activity. And this was a pretty simple setup. I got a couple of jars at my local dollar store. Let me adjust the camera for you. So I'm getting real close to you in your personal space. Oh, well, okay. I was really hoping that you wouldn't have to see that I was working on a fan box because that's not very professional. But here we are. And then next I got different colored marbles. So what this is going to represent is my grief and my joy. So some of the things that I need to take pause and grieve. The biggest one for me is the potential for memories. Memories are pretty important to me. I mean, they should be to everyone, but I've had some traumatic experiences in my life that memories are all that I have of some people now. And the fact that during COVID-19 we were restricted really, really affected me. So the idea that my children missed out on activities that make them happy bothered me. Being able to go to concerts and our county fair, we're involved in 4-H. So I'm going to give a couple of marbles to that one because that was a lot for me. One of the things that I feel like I didn't grieve was the security that I lost during COVID-19. And security can come in a lot of different forms, whether it's your job security, security in your home situation, security in your relationships. So just feeling like my world had been turned upside down and feeling that I didn't have the control that I normally had. That one's going to get several marbles because that one affected me big time. Let's go ahead and get out some more marbles, friends. Another thing that I didn't really take time to grieve the loss of was my Papa Lane. He's not actually my papa, I guess, but he is my aunt's husband, and he was such a kind, generous man. And he passed away during the pandemic, and due to that, we had to have a really small funeral and services, but a lot of his friends and family are in the older population, and I didn't want to risk their safety, so I didn't get to go and pay my respects, and um, I feel like I didn't get to say goodbye. So that one's getting some marbles. Um, with this activity, I refuse to cry because I'm wearing eyeliner. And as the country song says, we can't cry pretty. So we're not going to do that today, friends. This is a very intimate activity, but no snot crying allowed. And I feel like I just described most of my life. So another loss that we had, my my partner, his grandmother was in a nursing home, and she passed away due to COVID complications. But because she was in a nursing home, we weren't able to be with her. So this grief isn't really even mine to share, but I guess it is because my partner was hurting, so that hurt me. Tim didn't get to be with his grandma when she passed away, and that's a lot, friends. This next one, you might be like, MaryLue, that's a lot of marbles for this, but something that I feel like we lost during the pandemic that really hurt was kindness. The world kind of went ugly on us, and that was a whole nother kind of hurt. So I guess taking this moment to grieve the kindness that we have lost in the world, and I guess kind of grieving the world that I grew up in that doesn't feel like it exists anymore. So this is my grief jar, and that's okay. This is part of my life. We have to acknowledge our grief. Just because we don't acknowledge it doesn't mean that it's not there. It doesn't mean that it's not weighing in on us every single day in every activity that we do. We have to acknowledge it. We have to be in the moment. We have to feel it so that we can start to process it and learn the skills that we need to be able to cope with it. April did an amazing activity talking about the grief ball and our life box and our trigger button. So when our grief is big, it can easily hit our trigger button because it's all encompassing. But when we learn how to cope with things, our grief gets smaller, and it gives more room in our life so that it doesn't have to hit our trigger button all the time. So we have to acknowledge our grief so that it can shrink, so that we're not in a constant state of emotional distress. So now that we have talked about grief, we're going to talk about our joyous moment, my joyous moments. We can talk about yours too. Feel free to get a hold of us, and I will gladly talk about your joyous moments. But some of the stuff that during the pandemic that I was able to do that really brought me a lot of joy. Birthdays for my babies. And the reason that brings me so much joy is because that lets me know that they're healthy, they're thriving, they're growing, and they're developing into some pretty awesome humans. I mean, I might be a little biased, but they're funny too. I got one that he's either going to need bail money or he's going to run a business. Like he's witty. I don't know. He's something else. And then I have another one that is so musically talented. It's amazing to hear him play. And he started composing his own music now. And that just kind of blows my mind that he even does that. And then I have another one that is so kind-hearted. Like he's a good human. So their birthdays are amazing highlights for me. So a big one, and this one gets several marbles because it was epic. I went to the ocean for the first time. I can't even begin to explain all of the emotions that I felt. But on top of that, I took my mom with me, and it was the first time she saw the ocean. So we both saw the ocean for the first time on my 37th birthday. And it was a memory that I will cherish forever because it was just fantastic, people. Fantastic. Another thing that I'm joyous about is that during COVID-19, we had a lot of togetherness in my house. And it gave me the opportunity to strengthen relationships. And I feel like I'm closer to my family. And that's amazing. I learned how to set boundaries. Some people aren't joyous about that. I am, though. I'm starting to feel better. I feel like I don't have to put up with behaviors. I don't have to. Like, if you want to be a part of my life, you gotta be good. you gotta treat people well. And I like boundaries. They're healthy. I was able to start working on self-care. I'm not a master of it yet. I'm a work in progress, people. But I have spent enough time telling you all that you all are important and that you're worth it and that you can't help take care of other people if you're pouring from an empty glass. And I finally started getting the message for myself. Isn't it amazing? I feel like I'm finally starting to like get to know me. I started journaling. I started walking more. Okay, I mean, I'm 37. I know how to walk, but I've started walking with purpose to move my body. Something about moving my body also helps me process emotions. I don't understand the science behind that, but I enjoy it. It also helps with my mental health. So if I'm feeling stressy, aggressy, walking allows me to kind of let go of some of that tension. Bought a jump rope. I learned how to measure a jump rope appropriately. I didn't even know that that was a thing. But I'm going to start jump roping because I heard that it's really good cardio and it's supposed to work all the muscle groups. It might be an epic fail, but you know, I'm going to give it a whirl. I was able to do an acrylic pour class with you all. But come to find out, I really love doing that. Like there was something very calming about it. And it was satisfying because when it was done, I was like, I made that. That's cool. So trying to help everyone else feel better, I've actually helped make myself feel better. And You know what? We're going to give that one a couple more marbles because I just threw a marble. I think that one's pretty cool. And last but not least, I am really, really joyous because I enjoy the work that I do. I love being able to share information that makes people feel well. I enjoy being able to help others to feel well. I enjoy being able to decrease the stigma of mental health concerns and making yourself a priority so that you can take better care of yourself and in turn being able to take better care of others. I work with a really great team that is passionate about the work that we do, and we're good to each other. So I'm very joyous about the work that I get to do in the environment that I work in. So this is my joy jar. And so let's it doesn't matter how much is in one and how much is in the other. The fact that I took time to acknowledge and process is what's important. I talked about my grief and why that is so important, to process it and acknowledge it and give the space that it needs in our life. But then to move on to the positive mindset and remember all the good that's going on as well. So thank you so much for letting me share some of my personal life with you. I hope that the activity was beneficial for you and maybe you can get some ideas from it. If you need any resources for grief and loss, please reach out to a crisis counselor. Our phone number is 660-626-0453. Feel free to go through the rest of our YouTube channel and watch any of our videos. You can share those on your social media as well. Just be well, friends, and take care of yourselves, help take care of each other. Be sure to join us on Tuesday here on YouTube. April's going to have a video for resources for veterans and how to help the veterans in our lives. So I'm sure it will be fantastic, and we would love to have you with us. So be well, take care, reach out if you need anything. Bye, friends.